Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some crazy news when it comes to Wuthering Waves. Not really, but mostly Kuro Games. And that is, of course, a new game coming to the portfolio. And there are a couple of details when it comes to this game that are available at first glance. It was actually announced way back in 2023. Credits to Narushio for linking all this stuff. It was announced way back in 2023, and it's called, apparently, Project Nami. And one aspect about it is that it might be a PvP game. And so, if we just take a look at the actual link and translate it a little bit from TapTap, we get some more details. The recruitment information released by Kuro recently mentioned a mysterious research project, and it's supposed to be that codename Nami that was in 2023. And so, we went ahead and just decided to take a look at Kuro's actual recruitment page, and you can see over here, well, this looks pretty damn legit. Not like some of the fake recruitment posts that we had been seeing in the past. And there are about 31 job openings specifically related to Project Nami. And as you can see with the location over here in Guangzhou, China, where the headquarters of Kuro Games actually is, my oh my, it looks like stuff is kicking up into overdrive for this project. And so I think you can tell a couple of things from the fact that there are so many different job openings with so many crazy titles like engine development, technical planning, user research, all of that. It's that Wuthering Waves is doing fantastically well. So damn good, in fact, that if you just take a look at the last page of this job application over here, they're hiring recruiters. And if you know anything about business, you know anything about how an organization works, when you're at the point where you're actively hiring recruiters, then your company is pretty much in a good spot. It's in a really, really good spot, because when the company's doing bad, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Recruiters are typically the first jobs on the chopping block, because, well, what's the point of getting new people when all you're looking to do is cut? So yeah, Kuro Games is doing exceptionally well, and they're starting to hire for a brand new project. And so you might be wondering, well, all these job titles that we're seeing over here, they don't seem particularly too specific. What exactly is going on? And so, actually diving deeper into some of the individual job applications themselves, sorry for using that word, I know it might traumatize some of you guys, we get some further details about what this game is actually going to be. And so, the first and foremost one is going to be this level planning role. I don't know why it says copy, but the job description for this bad boy, it's going to be a full-time one, is going to be responsible for the design and production of the game's MMO content. It's going to design the process and follow up on the implementation of gameplay objects, so on and so forth. And so, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually going to be a game where you're going to actively interact with more and more players. If you're familiar with Kuro's actual current portfolio of games, let's be entirely honest here. Wuthering Waves and Punishing Gray Raven as well aren't really games where you actively play with other players. Sure, there are a couple of co-op modes here and then, but in Wuthering Waves, they're few and far between, with the co-op mode typically, you know, it's just being used for like having fun and farming echoes. It's not a traditional part of the gameplay loop. I'd be surprised to find out that the percentage of people that are playing with other people every single day is like above like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%. And in Punishing Gray Raven, they actually removed their co-op mode because it was getting too damn annoying to actually do every single day of the week, or not every single day of the week, every week, and it was becoming more of a drain on the players to actually incorporate in the gameplay loop. And so this looks like one of those times where they're actually innovating even further on their current portfolio of games. And boy, oh boy, is this exciting news, especially considering that Kuro Games is a company that's, I mean, for better or worse, known for taking games that have issues, that have problems, and releasing a better version of them, right? Y'all remember this game, right? What do you think Punishing Gray Raven was in relation to this game? A better version of Honkai Impact 3. And, well, you probably know the next one that I'm gonna show. Yeah, y'all remember this bad boy, right? Yeah, y'all remember this one, don't you? What's Wuthering Waves? What's Wuthering Waves, ladies and gentlemen? It's a better version of this dog shit game. And so there's a reason why a lot of people have been asking for Wuthering Star Rail, right? And they might be disappointed to hear that this is going to be an MMO, because let's be honest here, Honkai Star Rail has absolutely gone down the fucking gutter. It is such a dog shit game filled with power creep, boring mechanics. Have you seen the kit of Saber? She looks like a 1.0 unit released for the collab. Oh my gosh. People have been asking for a version of Wuthering Star Rail, hoping that Kuro Games is going to continue on that trend of development and just release better versions of Hoyo games. But it looks like that project might be either knocked down the pipeline or just really not even there at all, because it's going to be an MMO. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of further details we can scrape from here other than it being a game that's going to be developed in Unreal Engine. And it's also going to be in the PC as well as consoles and mobile games. So it's going to be a multi-platform game. It's going to be available on mobile, and it's also going to be available on PC. And most of the times, right, people might be concerned, right? You guys all remember Diablo Immortal, right? Y'all got phones, right? And people automatically assumed the game was going to be dog shit because, well, that was the reputation of mobile games back in the day. But when Wuthering Waves is a game that, I don't know, let's just be honest here. Holy fucking shit. I picked a good spot to go AFK. When Wuthering Waves is a game that looks like this, oh my god. Yeah, it looks like this on mobile, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really think we have anything to be, I don't think we have anything to be concerned about in terms of the graphical fidelity and the, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, my frames are so good right now. It's crazy. The game looks incredible. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about in terms of the gameplay or graphical fidelity department, ladies and gentlemen, because Kuro Games knows how to differentiate the performance between the devices and keep the stuff on the PC and console looking absolutely baller. Yeah, I mean, here's just the evidence right over here. So, no concerns overall for me on this initial overview. Let's keep going and see what other clues we can get from here. So, the next segment, or the next job I wanted to take a look at was Nami Battle Planning. And so, this job's going to be responsible for the character, monster, move design, attack feel, blah, 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 all of that stuff. Very vague. You could say this for any game. But when we look at the job requirements, that's where we get some additional clues, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the first one. Familiar with the combat system and skill settings of the current mainstream action 3D ARPG games. Sensitive to combat performance and combat sense, and familiar with 3A action games on the market, AAA action games on the market. And so, MMO ARPG. And there should be a couple of games that come to mind, ladies and gentlemen, when you think of that title. I'll give you a bit of a clue. One of them involves an arc, and the other one involves hell. Kind of actually very ironic that it's so like religious, right? Yeah, the first one is going to be, of course, Lost Ark. And as you're all pretty familiar, this game has its own set of issues, which I think the main one being that it's kind of like a, I mean, let's just be honest here, a bit of a pay-to-play sort of game. That's what I've heard. It's very like pay to win. It has a lot of like shady monetization that has gotten it to a point where a lot of people don't have a lot of fun unless they're willing to spend a good amount of money. And let's be honest here, right? It does have all those issues, but I mean, the gameplay does look quite sick. And when we look at the job role, right, and we know that this is going to be an MMORPG, it's not particularly too surprising to draw this as one of the main inspirations. And there are plenty of issues in Lost Ark for Kuro to explore even further and further improve on, right? Because that's typically their template when it comes to developing games. And so, just for like some additional clue over here, we have like Nami level planning, large map. This includes things like dungeons as well. So that's even like more leaning into the whole MMORPG sort of thing. Another game that I wanted to show is, of course, well, it's going to be Diablo 4. And this game has kind of gone through a lot of iterations, a lot of updates, and it's had a lot of its own issues that have been improved on over time and, you know, have necessarily gotten better, but still has like a lot of kinks that I feel like could be ironed out. And a lot of people have, you know, like I'm seeing videos from like 2 years ago and stuff like that. It's hard to find like gameplay recently. Give me a second over here. All right, here we got the 2nd anniversary trailer. Let's see if there's any actual gameplay in here. Oh, okay. Similar sort of stuff going on, right? It's, you can see that all ARPGs, they do have a similar blend of like, you know, you pick up loot, you go ahead, you explore your skill tree, right? And you end up, upgrading your character, getting all this crazy equipment, and then, doing a lot of fun stuff. You can see the game is not doing particularly well, so I think Kuro definitely sees an opportunity over here, because, wow, that's one of the most diabolical dislike ratios I've ever seen in the history of gaming, on your official channel. On your official channel for your, second only 43k views as well. It's a little rough, right? The real competitor that I think that Kuro Games is going to see over here is, of course, going to be a game that I feel like a lot of people have been talking about recently. And that's going to be, ladies and gentlemen, Path of Exile 2. And I'm not even certain. Has this game even come out yet, or is it, like, still in the beta? As far as I was concerned, I wasn't exactly sure if this game is, like, even, like, officially released yet. Yeah, it's in early access still. And people consider this to be the best ARPG out on the market currently. I can see why. There's a lot of complexity, a lot of skills, a lot of things you can do in the combat. But here's another thing about Path of Exile. It's too complicated. Yeah, a lot of people just don't play because it's too complicated. Yeah, it almost feels like you need a fucking PhD to be able to play this game properly. Yeah. And I think that's sort of like the big issue, is that Path of Exile might be the most casual, unfriendly game on the fucking market. Let me just see if I can show what the Path of Exile 2 skill tree looks like. Okay, we got a passive skill tree planner over here. Y'all ready for this? Yeah, I'd rather just go do something in Minecraft, bro. Oh, sorry, that's only one class. Yeah, every single class has a different one. I'd rather go do something in Minecraft, if I'm frankly being honest. These are all individual upgrades. Sorry, I need to zoom in more. Yeah, so you unlock this one, and then that will give you that one. And you unlock, like, bigger ones that have, like, bigger bonuses and stuff, right? And that's how big it is. So, as you can see over here, imagine playing this game on mobile. Imagine playing this game if you're somebody that's not experienced with it. What are you going to do? Oh, and this is the other thing. I heard it's incredibly easy to brick your build in this game, right? Because, oh, look, let's see if I want to get this ability. Yep, make sure you grab all of these nodes along the way, right? It's incredibly easy to, like, brick your build in this game, and it's, again, very not casual friendly. And there are some people that might say, oh, respecs in this game are free, or respecs only take you like 20 minutes of grinding when you hit the end game. But at the end of the day, if you're respecking a build, that's probably because you fucked it up somewhere along the line. And when the skill tree is this big and there are this many opportunities to fuck up the build, yeah, I mean, that's what most people would call bricking. So yeah, that's going to be PoE and all of the stuff going on over here. And when we think about the complexity that's going to be in this title, and then we compare it, right, to what we're traditionally going to find in a gacha game, there's a reason why PoE is not going to actually be on mobile, ladies and gentlemen. And while Project Nami is. The last thing that I wanted to actually touch on, right, is we touched on the casual nature, the likely casual nature of the game. It's going to be available on multiple platforms. The last thing is actually the engine. And this is actually going to be really important for one specific reason. The engine of a game oftentimes leads to how well it's actually going to run. And it's going to run on Unreal Engine 4. And one thing for certain is that Kuro Games has a lot of experience programming on Unreal Engine 4 because that's what Wuthering Waves is on. And so you can think about all of the launch issues that the game had way back in the day where, it wasn't running that well on mobile devices. It wasn't even available on consoles. And I think that these devs have gotten all of the irons or all the kinks out of the iron when it comes to actually programming and making sure that the game runs exceptionally well. Some people might be concerned that it's not on Unreal Engine 5, but let's be honest here, Unreal Engine 5 is so unoptimized that single-player games oftentimes can't even run on it. And so what do you think an MMO ARPG is going to run like on an engine like that? There are also plenty of past games, right? I do believe Lost Ark is on Unreal Engine 4. Oh, Lost Ark is on Unreal Engine 3? Unreal Engine as a whole then, right? So I think that Kuro Games is taking on this engine choice to ensure, right, that they have all of the past technologies, all the past expertise, and they could just carry it forward into the future. So yeah, I would say overall, Project Nami is something that we've gotten definitely a couple of clues on. We know the genre, we know the platforms. I'm just waiting to see what the overall gameplay is going to look like. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a pretty exciting experience for everybody over here. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you all think about this. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Peace.